Georgia, Alabama. Sports Live will be your go-to for all your favorite high school and collegiate games this fall. From the Carver Tigers to the Columbus Blue Devils, the Harris County Tigers and Northside Patriots, the Glenwood Gators and Calvary Christian Knights, the Pacelli Vikings and Brookstone Cougars to the Smith Station Panthers and Russell County Warriors, from CVCC, Pirates basketball and baseball, and every tournament from here to Macon. We are the #1 destination for anything happening in East Alabama and West Central Georgia. Be sure to like and follow us on YouTube and Facebook, and stay tuned for even more amazing ways we will be bringing Georgia, Alabama Sports Live to you this upcoming season. We can't wait to come see you next. Welcome into of the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show. I am Thrift Barringer, alongside partner in crime, Richie Rich. What is up, man?
Hey, what is going on, Thrift? Great to be back on the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show. Is it lagging?
Excited, Richard. We should. Yes, bad.
It was lagging. Okay. Try it again.
Yeah.
My internet's fine. My internet's fine. Maybe my kid, I've taken off all my devices, maybe because my kid has the tablet. I mean,
am I lagging on your end?
Well, right now, let's just start.
It may be me. It may be me. We're going to have to start over. It may be me. Let me try something. Hold on.
All right.
All right, Richard, am I lagging now?
No. Let's just try it again.
But hold on. Talk again.
Test.
Shit. Let me move. It may be me, Rich. Don't get mad. It may be me, because my internet's been going in and out. Natalie, I'm going to have to do it up here. The internet is horrible down there. I don't get it. Richard, am I lagging right now? Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing. No. I don't understand. It can't be yours, Rich. You have immaculate internet.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, you're frozen right now.
Look, we've been on this device all day, practically. Sometimes it happens when you're on a device.
Let me try. Let me go back to the other one. Let me see if it does any better. And if not, whatever. Because you're lagging, so it makes me think it's me. So hold on. Bless. It's the only thing about doing this.
I just want to get it done and over with.
All right. How about now, Rich? Look at me.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this.
All right.
Georgia, Alabama. Sports Live will be your go-to for all your favorite high school and collegiate games this fall. From the Carver Tigers to the Columbus Blue Devils, the Harris County Tigers and Northside Patriots, the Glenwood Gators and Calvary Christian Knights, the Pacelli Vikings and Brookstone Cougars, to the Smith Station Panthers and Russell County Warriors, from CVCC, Pirates basketball and baseball, and every tournament from here to Macon. We are the #1 destination for anything happening in East Alabama and West Central Georgia. Be sure to like and follow us on YouTube and Facebook, and stay tuned for even more amazing ways we will be bringing Georgia, Alabama Sports Live to you this upcoming season. We can't wait to come see you next. Welcome into another edition of the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show. I'm your host, Thrift Barringer, alongside partner in crime, Richie Rich. Can you believe it?
Oh, man. What is going on, everybody? Great to be back on another fantastic Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show. As you know, we get into this playoff edition. These teams, it's going down into the single digits. We don't have a whole lot of teams left to talk about.
No, exactly right. So we're going to recap everything that happened. First round of the playoffs for GHSA public schools, semifinal for GIAA schools, and then we had second round in Alabama for all the public schools there. So we will be talking about everything that happened in the playoff. But Richard, we are now, as you mentioned, down to a couple of teams. Can you believe that we are almost at the finish line for football season? It's been an incredible ride, an incredible season. The amount of games we were able to cover and stream, just an incredible year this year, man, and cannot believe it, and I hate when it comes to an end.
Yeah, it's tough when it comes to an end. We will no longer be live streaming any more high school football games on Georgia Alabama Sports Live, but that doesn't mean that we can't extend our services to possibly the NFHS network, but I think that this football season has just been a huge success. So many games that we have live streamed. We even had quadruple headers. And I just want to continue this momentum as we make that transition into basketball. We still have girls flag football. We've got a couple more weeks into the season, and then they start the playoffs. But yeah, it's tough when the football season ends, but you just make that transition into basketball, wrestling, and still wrap it up girls flag football.
Yeah, exactly right, Richard. And like you said, we will not be streaming any other games. We're not allowed to. Central, Carver, we may help out with NFHS, but for Georgia Alabama Sports Live, we are done streaming football games. Now, not flag football. We'll talk about what we got coming up this week, some huge flag football games on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. But for regular football, yes, we are done. We are presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC, Gordy Eye Care, CVCC, Pepsi, and of course Zaxby's. So having a lot of fun, me and Big Rich, as we always do. Richard, let's go ahead and throw it up there. Let's recap the weekend. So on Friday night, we had a lot of teams playing playoff games in the city of Columbus, and really there were only two teams in our entire coverage area hosting playoff games. That is Carver and that is Central. And by the way, they'll be both hosting this upcoming week. Let's start with those two games, and we'll talk about everyone else. Carver dominated Thurl. We expected that. A team out of Atlanta. We kind of were surprised they even made the playoffs this year. Carver wins 54-7. The game was over with at halftime. Great win for the Carver Tigers. Coach Pierre Coffey, they go to 10-1, and they will be hosting again next week as the #1 seed, #2 overall seed in the entire GHSA 2A playoffs.
Absolutely. They are going to be hosting Ringgold Otis Spencer Stadium. If they're able to win that game, they are guaranteed to host the quarterfinal matchup, which I'm looking at that second round matchup between Columbia and Pierce County. I think they're going to play Pierce County. I mean, Pierce County, a lot of tradition and history. The defending 2A champions, Stetson Bennett went there. That would be a huge matchup if Carver got Pierce County. If they're able to win that game, we could possibly see Carver and Callaway in the semifinals. But yeah, like we mentioned, we would love to live stream these games on the NFHS network, but I know that they've gone with somebody else, but that's okay. I mean, we're available if need be. I'm excited about these matchups. I want to see Carver do good. I think they're going to get to Atlanta. I think they're going to play for a state championship in 2A. I mean, they've been just fantastic. I mean, I saw this game. It was over before halftime. I mean, Carver was completely dominant over a 3-7 Farrell team. And I think that they're going to continue their dominance next week against Ringgold.
Yeah, that's a great point, Richard. And great win for the Carver Tigers. Now for Central, they take on Vestavia Hills. Now, we talked about this extensively heading into the playoffs, that we thought Central was not going to be hosting a playoff game probably their entire way all the way to the state championship. We were wrong about that. Literally in the first weekend, Vestavia Hills upset undefeated Mary Montgomery, and Central then beat Vestavia Hills 41-21, and they're going to be hosting Hoover next week. So big win. They were going to be on the road at Opelika.
This game is actually going to be at Hoover because
Hoover's a 2C. Sorry,
Hoover was a 2C.
So excuse me for that. Actually, Hoover's a 1 seed. Opelika being a 2 seed. Central will be on the road. But they were to beat Vestavia Hills 41-21. Great win for the Red Devils as they take down Vestavia Hills. And Richard, this team is now 9-2. And I think they were looking every bit the part. If they can get past Hoover, obviously, semifinal, they'll be in the state championship.
I definitely think they could get past Hoover. Central is got a history of just winning big playoff games. I do think you look at the other side of the bracket where you have Thompson against Enterprise. It's hard to believe that this region, the 4 teams that made the playoffs in the region, that the 4 seed Enterprise is advanced. The 1 seed Auburn ends up losing to Thompson, and then Opelika loses to Hoover. I mean, so anything can happen in 7A. Would love to see Central get back to the state championship. I just think that Andrew Alford, you have a quarterback in Andrew Alford that's got so much confidence when he's throwing the football. Central is hard to beat. And even though they're playing this game on the road, I still like my chances against Hoover.
Yeah, I do too. And, I mean, how about that? Auburn, if they would have been where Enterprise is at, Enterprise was the 4th seed, and they're in the semifinal. Auburn had to play Thompson. I mean, they just got not the luck of the draw. Same thing with Opelika. They had to be in the same thing as Hoover. Central and Enterprise, the 3 and the 4 seed in their bracket, had an easier path. And now Central went away at Hoover to moving on to the state championship. We'll preview that game here in just a little bit, but a good win for the Red Devils as Andrew Alford was excellent. And this team is now went away from making the state championship. Let's go to the semifinals in the GIAA. Brookstone takes on Bullock Academy, and Brookstone comes up short, Richard. Last year's semifinal matchup was 3 versus 7. This year it was 2 versus 3, and Brookstone down 20-0 made a quick comeback. We talked with head coach Aaron Phillips from Bullock Academy on the GIAA scoreboard show. He talked about his team gave up 2 touchdowns in 19 seconds, let them back in the game, but then end up holding off Brookstone. Bullock stays undefeated. They go and take on First Presbyterian Day in the 4A classification of the GIAA, but Brookstone season comes to an end. They finish 7-4 and lose in the semifinal. So in 3 years under Coach Gillespie, semifinal, state runner-up, and semifinal.
Look, this was an incredible season for Brookstone. I mean, they got the Brucelli jug. They get to keep it on campus for an entire year. I mean, all their goals that they wanted were in front of them. And yeah, Bullock Academy, you got to give credit to a team that was undefeated, playing with a lot of confidence, avenging the semifinal loss from Brookstone last season. And now Bullock Academy is in the state championship. But Brookstone still had a great season. Broughton Branch is only a sophomore. We're going to get 2 more seasons of him. And we know that Coach Rance Gillespie is going to have them poised and ready to go next season. And they got something to play for. I mean, you got the Pacelli jug. They got a big target on their back because Pacelli is thinking, we want to try to get that jug back. But, yeah, great season for the Brookstone Cougars. Just fell short to a very good Bullock Academy team.
And Brookstone, again, I really thought this was their year to win a state championship, but Bullock Academy proved us wrong. Strength of schedule did not matter. They took down Pacelli and Brookstone in back-to-back weeks. Creekside dominated Harris County, Richard. The score wasn't as bad as the game played out. Rick Beach was there. It was 13-0 at halftime. But in the second half, Creekside, the defending state runner-up, obviously shows why they're one of the top teams in the 4A classification. Harris County is going to finish their season 7-4. But just not enough offense for the Tigers, kind of their Achilles heel. The game got in the 30s, high 20s. It was going to be a tough ask. Creekside loses to Harris County. Harris County loses to Creekside.
Yeah, there's a reason why Creekside, they were the runners-up in 5A last year. I mean, you look at what Creekside has done. They're one of the top teams in 4A. I would not be shocked if they win a state championship, especially with all the teams that are in 4A. I mean, you still have Perry in the second round, Jones County, Central Carrollton, Jonesboro. I mean, this is how good that the region that Harris County was in. The other 3 teams in their region advanced out of the first round, including Stars Mill, Jonesboro, and Central Carrollton. It was just a tough draw for the 4 seed Harris County having to face the 1 seed. I mean, especially a very talented 1 seed in Creekside, which plays Kell next. So get ready for that matchup. But yeah, a fantastic season for the Harris County Tigers, Coach Tommy Watson, and they'll be back. I mean, they've got a solid team. They're building a foundation. 2 seasons ago, they only won 2 games. They had an incredible season last year, making it to the quarterfinals, but just that transition, playing some talented teams in 4A, I believe Harris County will be back on track next season.
West Side, and now let's go to the public school for GHSA. West Side beats Spencer 49-35. Good year for Spencer Green Waves. They also will finish 7-4 this year. I didn't understand how a 5-5 West Side team did not go on the road to Spencer, who was 7-3. That didn't make sense to me. And I think home field did have an advantage here. But Spencer, not enough. The offense for West Side putting up 49 points on that defense. It's too much for Spencer to be able to handle. The offense did what they were supposed to do to try to keep them within the game. A couple turnovers kind of costed them down the stretch. But a great year for Spencer and Coach Kegler's team. That's 4 straight years making the playoffs after winning back-to-back region championships. West Side takes down Spencer. So Spencer will finish their season 7-4, Richard.
A fantastic year for the Spencer Green Wave. Elijah Fudge is putting up passing records in our area. Spencer was just down a couple of running backs. This was just a shootout. I mean, I saw this game on the NFHS network. Westside had the ball first, and it seemed like they controlled the line of scrimmage. They were moving the ball down with ease, and it's hard to, when you're getting down to start the game, it takes you out of your rhythm. And I thought that Westside set the tone in the beginning of the game, and then Spencer had to play catch-up. It was a shootout, and Westside ends up winning the game, and Spencer's season comes to an end. But like you mentioned, Spencer has had a lot of success with their playoff run. I mean, no Spencer team, maybe since the 1950s, has had the success that they have had in the playoffs the last couple of years, winning back-to-back region championships, going to the second round, hosting a second-round playoff game last year. But yeah, a fantastic season for Coach Kegler and the Green Wave. And they look to next season. The future looks bright. Elijah Fudge is coming back. CJ Starr is coming back. I mean, they're going to have a young team. Yeah.
They're going to be loaded. Another team that it was just too much, Richard. Carver Atlanta. That's a great program. 36-0 over Shaw. This was Saturday, not on Friday, Saturday at 2 p.m. And Shaw comes up short, 36-0. Shaw will finish 5-6. They're a young team full of talent. Coach Gardner is building this team the right way. It's only year 2. He's improved his win total by 1 and a good win. Good season for the Shaw Raiders. They come up short against Carver Atlanta, 36-0.
Yeah, that just tells you how talented all the public schools in Atlanta. They all play at Lakewood Stadium. And so, I know that I thought this game was on Friday. I was actually thinking about going. It was on Saturday afternoon because Lakewood Stadium is the home to like North Atlanta, Mays, all the Cross Keys, all these schools in Metro Atlanta play at Lakewood Stadium. So that's why this game was on a Saturday afternoon at 2.
By the way, we will have no rankings today, and the reason for this is because everyone's season is pretty much ended except for Carver and Central. So we didn't want to give our final rankings yet. So we're going to let their playoff run in, and when their playoff runs end, or at least one of the teams lose, whichever team that is, whichever team loses, whoever makes it farther, we'll see at that point who will jump in our spot, because obviously we said best chance to win a state championship. So we won't have that, and we will recap the entire year for each team, including teams that didn't make the playoff in our kind of season finale. But we're not doing that here tonight. We still got season and games left to play. Hopefully we have 2 teams winning a state championship, the 2 teams that are live in our coverage area. But I just want to make mention to everyone, we won't recap the seasons. We'll have a recap mega show we'll do here in a couple weeks once Carver and Central end. And the final game of our coverage area, Richard, Spain Park, undefeated, beat Russell County. I knew this was going to be a tough ask for the Warriors, but they fought valiantly. They scored 30 points. They finished their year 9-3. Second round of the playoffs. Dylan Griggs vying for that Coach of the Year. And we'll give some of those awards at the end in our recap show. But great job for Russell County. Just coming up short against a really good Spain Park team. Would not be surprised if they're in the state championship game.
Absolutely heartbreaking for Russell County. You know, they had 3 touchdowns that were called back because of penalties. I mean, that's got to be very frustrating. But the thing is, even though there was a lot of penalties against Russell County in this game, you know, Russell County fought hard and they just could not overmatch just the Spain Park team that's undefeated. And now they're getting ready to play Saraland. Just a fantastic season for Russell County. Bryson Riggins is only a sophomore. He's got a couple more years under his belt. I think that what Coach Dylan Griggs is building, he's building a foundation. He's building a program, a team that is got now a winning culture that knows that they can host playoff games and they can go farther than any Russell County team in school history can go. Not since 1998. Russell County has won this many games, finishing the year at 9-3. What a success for the Russell County Warriors. We just wish nothing but best wishes to Russell County as they continue building their football program.
A couple other games of note. Thompson upset Auburn, the number 1 team in the state, undefeated. Auburn goes down. And I just find it hard to believe that. I mean, I cannot believe these 2 teams were facing the quarterfinals, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And Thompson, a team that's made the state championship all these years in a row, wasn't going to make it to at least the semifinals. They will host Enterprise, so we potentially could get Central Thompson again in the state championship.
Oh, here we go again.
I'm kind of leaning towards, or Hoover Thompson, which I know people are like, are you kidding me? Hoover took down Opelika in a thrilling game, 32-29. LaGrange took down Lumpkin County. Callaway, and that mega matchup with Carver, we're hoping, comes in the semifinals.
Coming.
And Manchester beats Marion County.
I threw Manchester in here because Thrift, I believe Manchester can win a state championship. That's how. Yeah, we saw them early in the season against Harris County. And that was a game I thought Manchester was going to win. Justice Terry one of the best defensive tackles in the state. I think that Manchester, making it to the state championship last year, losing to Bowdoin. They beat Bowdoin this year. But Thrift, I want to throw it back to Thompson, Central, Auburn. Did you know that 2017 was the last time that a team not named Central or Auburn was in the state championship? Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's been a very long time because it's either Central or Auburn making it to the state championship.
Yeah, it has been that long. 2018, 2019 Central, 2020 Auburn, 2021 Central, 2022 Auburn, 2023 Central. Now, if Central loses, they may not be in. If Thompson or Hoover, either one, let's say Hoover wins and then Enterprise wins. We haven't seen Hoover in the state championship game, obviously, in quite some time with Thompson's 4 straight appearances. And then Enterprise, not even close. They were the 4 seed, and they may upset Hoover, who knows, for that Thompson, for that state championship. But Central will take on Hoover. All right, let's take the graphic off and let's kind of preview, Richard, before we take a break, these 2 games that we have coming up here this Friday. Only 2 teams still alive. Central will go on the road to take on Hoover, and Hoover's a really good program, Richard. They able to upset the Opelika Bulldogs, who didn't have their head coach. And I'm wondering, their head coach, Brian Moore, he has to be beside himself, Richard, to have your team this close, and then you weren't even able to be there to help your team. For one, I don't understand the mindset. Maybe he just thought it was an honest mistake. We haven't really heard anything from him come out publicly. Or do you think that the coach made a difference in that game?
Oh, there's no question the coach made the difference in the game. Look, Hoover's had a great season, but they did lose to Spain Park, by the way. I think that, Hoover, which, by the way, won the state title in 2017 against Miguel Tulin, by the way, just in case any of you were wondering.
Yeah.
I think that Hoover and Central, this is really the matchup that we want to see. I think that Central has just a good shot to go up to Hoover on the road. Central are road warriors. They played Hewitt-Trussville in the regular season on the road one time and won. They could beat anybody anywhere. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Give me Central in a close game. I just think that we wanted to see Opelika and Central in the state championship because it would be at Bulldog Stadium in Opelika. This was a 32-29 game. I honestly feel that coaching does matter, and that would have made a huge difference if Coach Moore was on the sidelines.
And by the way, Hoover, this is their deepest run they've made since losing to Thompson in the semifinals back in 2022. Last year, they were 5-7, Richard. This year, obviously, a major improvement, 10-2, and they will be hosting Central. I am with you. Their 2 losses are to Parker and to Spain Park, which we just talked about. They lost Spain Park 39-37 at home. That's how good Spain Park is. Parker is out of Birmingham, Alabama. They're 11-1. Give me the Central Red Devils too, and I think they win this game, Richard. We will not have game day this Friday because we don't have as many teams, and me and Richard actually be in Statesboro calling for the GIAA state championships on GIAA.tv. So we won't have game day. We're going to make our picks here. I got Central too. I think Andrew Alford and this offense, they don't make many mistakes. Give me a 35-31 shootout. Central takes down Hoover, and we get Central Thompson again in the state championship.
Oh, I got Central too in a little bit more higher scoring game in a shootout. Give me 47-42. I think that Andrew Alford is going to just find Dalen Upshaw for at least 3 touchdowns. Tristan Williams is going to run the football. Central will make stops on defense to try to, we might have a couple of turnovers in this game, but I think that Central finds a way to get it done in a shootout.
Moving on, the other game is Carver, and Carver will be taking on and hosting Ringgold. Richard, give me your preview on what do you think is going to happen in this one.
Oh, it's going to be another blowout. I think that Carver's defense is not going to allow more than a touchdown. Ringgold would be lucky if they got a touchdown. This game is going to be over in the first quarter. like the game we saw on the NFHS network against Therrell. I know Ringgold has a little bit, they do have a winning record. I mean, they're a little bit tougher team than Therrell. Therrell was 3-7, or Ringgold's 8-3. But I think that the home field advantage is really going to help Carver out. And I think that they're going to dominate, like they've been doing all season long. I'm looking at Ringgold as a team, like I mentioned, at 8-3. They've beaten Hart County. That they actually beat Hart County 19-0 in the first round. Coahulla Creek, they beat 42-3. I'm trying to see where their losses are. Rockmart, North Cobb Christian. Those are really good teams.
And they're all close games, Richard. And every one of their losses, they lost by 3 to Rockmart, 2 to North Cobb, and 1 to North Murray. So they have lost by combined 6 points. But I just think I'm with you. Carver's too dominant. I don't see their defense giving up many points in this playoff stretch. They have just been on a complete tear. Put this into perspective, ladies and gentlemen that are watching right now. Since that loss to Harris County, here are the scores that they have given up just on defense. 0, 0, 0, 7, 0, 6, 14, and 7. That's how many points they've given up. They've given up single digits all year long. Whitewater, they gave up 13-2. Kendrick, they gave up 14-2, and that was because it was mop-up duty. Whitewater gave up 13, and they gave up 15 to Harris County. This team has not given up more than 15 points all year long. I don't think the defense, led by those elite linebackers, are going to have a problem with Ringgold. I'm with you. I think it's going to be another blowout. I think 38-0, 33-7, something like that. Give me Justin Newman and the Dark Side defense with another shout-out.
Well, Thrift, I actually think it's going to be a three-score game. I don't think it's going to be the blowout that you think it's going to be. I think that Carver's defense maybe gets a touchdown. I'm going to say 21-6. I think that they do give up a touchdown, but I think that, Ringgold did shut out Hart County. So I think that Ringgold's defense is going, Carver does have explosive offensive players like Braylon Jenks, Jacoby Caslin, Kelson Popcorn Tarver. But I do think that Ringgold is going to get some stops, but it's going to be at least a 2-score, 3-score game. I think that it's not going to be a blowout, but I do think that Carver's going to win comfortably.
And we want to make sure everyone here, this is a PSA. Go out and support both these schools. I know if you don't want to make the drive to Hoover, I understand, but at least cheer on them in spirit, the Central Red Devils. But everyone in Columbus, Georgia, there is no other teams still alive.
Nope.
You need to be at Otis Spencer Stadium cheering on these Carver Tigers. They are the only team that can represent Columbus in our Tri-City area other than Central and trying to bring home a state championship. There is no reason people are not there to support them, and we hope that everyone will pack out Otis Spencer as they take on Ringgold. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back from break, we're going to talk about what we got coming up this week, update you on what's got going on in flag football, talk a little high school basketball, talk some River Dragons, some Columbus State, and we're going to get out of here. It's the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show. We'll be right back after this.
Get your grills out this summer with Pepsi, the official beverage of Grills Night Out.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show. We are presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC. Richard, what do we always say?
Get ready to smile.
And we're smiling because we're doing another live show this Wednesday. Me and Rich live from the showroom. You're going to want to tune in 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Central on Georgia Alabama Sports Live Facebook page and YouTube channel. All right. Also, thank you to Gordy Eye Care, CVCC, Pepsi, and, of course, Zaxby's for their support of everything that we do. Kind of quick update on what's happening this week on Georgia Alabama Sports Live, Richard. We got flag football region championship. Columbus and Harris counties, both undefeated in the region. You're going to get that on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. That's going to be at 7:30 Me and Richard will be on the call. It's a try match, and we're going to have the 2 games prior to that. But Columbus and Harris County, try match, region championship on the line. Cannot wait to do that, Richard. It's been a lot of fun. Flag football is almost over with, too. They don't start their playoffs to December, but a lot of teams, this is kind of it for their regular season. So that's what we'll be tomorrow. And we also got CVCC. Boys and girls will be playing a game. Robert Eben will be there 5 and 7 p.m. on Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that game between Carver and Harris County, which, by the way, both are ranked 22nd and 23rd in the entire state of Georgia for all classifications in the state of Georgia. And the quarterback matchup of Cricket Colley and you have Serenity Hickman. I mean, you can't get a better quarterback matchup in this area. Sign me up for that quarterback matchup. And then, of course, Alexandria Lofton, who is just all-world, one of the best receivers in the state. I mean, Pearson Petit, a great receiver as well for Harris County. Oh, I can't wait for this matchup. We will have a tri-match. So the first game is going to be Spencer and Columbus. The second game is going to be Carver, Harris County. And then the third and final match, which you will be on the call, Thrift, is going to be Harris County, Columbus.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I cannot wait to do that tomorrow, as we just gave you a quick preview of what we expect. Then on Tuesday, Richard, Pacelli hosting a semifinal match to get back to the state championship. They're trying to have a three-peat. Coach Cochran's flag football team. We don't know who their opponent will be, but that's at 6 o'clock. And then we're going to try to do something special, but we are trying to get Brookstone Columbus basketball. That's at 6 and 7:30. We got basketball for Calvary. The girls host First Presbyterian Day at 6, and the boys host Harris County at 7:30. Noah Shelton will be on the call. And then CVCC girls will host Pearl River. Then Wednesday, we got the Glenn Smith Show live from Glenn Smith. We also got office hours this week. Thursday, we got Valley at Glenwood. We will be out of town, but that will be Brandon and Noah doing that one. That brings in Glenwood's basketball season. Wow. Noah's looking forward to being on that call. Then Robert Edmond and Toygar will be at CVCC for Lawson State Thursday. And then Friday, we got Calvary at Columbus we potentially could be doing. So another busy week on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. We will give you live coverage from the state championships in Statesboro for GIAA.TV. Let's talk some high school basketball. Carver's dominant. They've gotten off to an incredible start. Leading scorer right now is not Tony Montgomery. By the way, congratulations to him for signing. We had that signing day on Georgia Alabama Sports Live and signing to go to Troy. But TJ Woodson, the freshman, is the leading scorer.
How about that?
And they are dominating. Central has just been putting on a show. They got another great win in a classic. These two teams we wish could play each other in the regular season. Both of them off to a great start. And then other teams are starting their season here in these next couple of weeks. Like I said, Calvary has their first real game. Boys, last week was an exhibition with Spencer. You got Glenwood opening up their season. A lot of the Muscogee County schools like Columbus and Kendrick have already played. Kendrick took down Carver, Atlanta. I mean, just
how about that?
Glad that basketball's back.
Yeah, and Hardaway ended up defeating Brookstone over the weekend. So the Hardaway boys 43-40
and got a game winner. By the way, we're talking with Coach Mills. What a win to take down our number 5 team, Hardaway. Great win for them to win 43-40.
Yeah, and I mean, we all know. I mean, really, when you see Hardaway Brookstone, you think, oh, the girls are going to play. The Ellison sisters are going to play against each other. I mean, they purposely don't play against each other. But I tell you, it is a good time for them and their mom to come support Brookstone and Hardaway. And I think it's just great just that these two schools get to play each other because, we love both schools and we just love just the basketball that's around. And congratulations to Coach Mills getting the victory over Brookstone. First victory of the season for the Hardaway Hawks.
And we'll update you on basketball, and we will not drop a new rankings until after Thanksgiving.
There's a lot of teams. A lot of teams haven't played yet. Yeah.
Yeah. Like some teams don't even have their full roster or just now going to get their full team back now that football season's over with. So we will have a new ranking after Thanksgiving now that a couple teams have already everybody would have already played a couple games, and we can get a better assessment who we think the top 10 teams are. If you miss our preview show we did last Wednesday, we dropped our preseason rankings and we gave you our top 5 players in each girls and boys. So make sure to go and tune in and listen to that, Richard. A couple updates. So River Dragons. Richard, what you got? What's going on with the River Dragons?
Well, the River Dragons, they took one on the chin at the Civic Center against their cross-state rival, the Athens Rock Lobsters, 6-5 in a shootout. I mean, both teams had pretty good shots on goal. Athens just came out 15 shots on goal, and they end up getting the victory. And right now, if you look at, Cody Wickline, by the way, did have 2 goals for the Columbus River Dragons.
Right.
The current standings right now, because Athens and Columbus are in the same region. They're in the Continental Division. You also have, and as I'm looking to see the standings. I know that Columbus, this is their first loss of the season, by the way. As on last Friday, they defeated the Baton Rouge Zydeco, so they were able to get the victory there. I love this rivalry. I can't wait until Columbus actually goes up to Athens and takes on the Athens Rock Lobsters, which is a very creative nickname, by the way, because guess what town the B-52s are from? Athens. So a very famous song by the B-52s called Rock Lobster. Why not call the Athens Rock Lobsters? And there's some fun facts from Richard Holdridge.
I knew we were going to get it, man. We'll keep you up to date with River Dragons. Like I said, every single week, Sunday and Wednesdays, you're getting 2 and sometimes maybe 3 shows a week on Georgia Alabama Sports Live, but you're going to get it every Sunday and Wednesday. And this Wednesday, we're going to try to get on someone from the River Dragons, whether it be Dana Barker, whether it be Tom Callahan. We're going to get someone on to give you up-to-date information on what's happening here early in the season. We look forward to talking with them live from Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC. Okay, Columbus State. I'll let you do soccer, Richard, then I'll talk basketball. Soccer, show them why they're the best team in the country.
Well, another Peach Belt championship for the Columbus State soccer team. They took down Flagler College on Sunday at the Walden Soccer Complex 1-0. We know that they're going to host, but we don't have an opponent for the first round of the NCAA tournament. That's going to be this Friday at the Walden Soccer Complex. What an incredible season. They had a 19-0-1 record. Their only tie was to Lenore Rhine, the team that they lost to in last year's playoffs. Undefeated at home. Some of the leading scorers, Emma Badeau, she was one of those players that was on that team that went to the Final Four 2 years ago. She led the team with 26 points. Sarah Hungerford had 11 goals. Michelle Medina with 10 goals. Coach Jay Itlick, he's got another powerhouse, and I think that this Columbus State soccer team can win a state championship. They got close. 2015, they were the runners-up. Like I mentioned, they went to the Final Four in 2022. I think that this could be the year, as they are ranked number 1 in NCAA Division II.
We expect to have on Jay Itlick here, maybe not this week because he's got a busy week, but hopefully if they win this upcoming Friday, Richie, we'll have him on next week on the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show. What an incredible year he has had this year, and we hope he gets a state or national, not state. We're not talking high school, a national championship. In the basketball, we'll start with the boys. Boys are 4-1. Their only loss was to Francis Marion. They lost that game 76-85. They did beat University of Mount Olive. They beat Barton College. They beat Miles College. And they just beat this past Saturday Edward Waters by 3. Some of their leading scorers have gotten off to incredible starts. Jared Adderton's putting up close to 20 a game. Jelani James at 16 a game. Richard, he's also putting up 6.8 rebounds. Cordell Brown putting up 10.2. And Rakeem Gary, who came from New Mexico State, putting up 10.2. This team is deep. And we're talking about Wisdom Yubo, who was the second in scoring last year. He's putting up 9 a game. That's how you know how deep this team is. I like this team to make a deep run in the Peach Belt Conference. Good start for them right now for the Columbus State Cougars.
Yeah, their next home game is not until December the 3rd at the Lumpkin Center against Francis Marion. A perfect opportunity to come down And, that's in a couple of weeks. To come down and support this team, they do a fantastic job. Scott Miller does a great job on Cougar Radio, 88.5. Brian Salido does a fantastic job as the public address announcer. Just the game day atmosphere at the Lumpkin Center is incredible. And I can't wait. Like in January, we get into Peach Belt Conference games where you have the women and the men playing these Peach Belt opponents. I can't wait. So far, great season for Coach Robert Moore. And they just playing with a lot of confidence. And all those players that were on that team last year, they're coming back. He's got some newcomers and some great additions. And they're off to a pretty good start on the regular season.
For the girls and Coach Matt Hauser, they went up to Tennessee in the first week of the season and beat Catawba College 90-70. They beat Tusculum University 97-84. So they beat both them in Greenville. And back-to-back days, a part of a classic. Then they lost to Francis Marion. Francis Marion swept the boys and girls team. They did just beat Miles College, and they take on Tuskegee University at Tuskegee next Saturday. And then you may mention they got to play at University of West Florida. Then, finally, they take on Wingate at home November the 30th. That's going to be their first home game. They're 3-1 this year. Remember, they came in as a preseason top 25 team, the preseason favorite to win the Peach Belt Conference Championship. Their leading scorer so far, Latia Reeves, putting up 14.8 a game, Richard. She's been great. She's been shooting lights out obviously hadn't missed a free throw, leads the team in points. Alana Rawls putting up 11.5 points. Richard, she's looked good. How about the shooting we've seen from Breland Snipes? She's been a sniper.
Love it.
She has been shooting the lights out. She leads the team in three-pointers. She's already hit 8 on the season. This team is loaded. They have 7 or 8 girls putting up 5 or at least 5 points a game. They are another deep team that's got a lot of size, great defensive performance. They're only lost by Francis Marion by 2. I really like Coach Hauser's team. This is his best team since he took over the program, and I like their chances a lot. Just like I do the boys, we could have a Columbus State men's and women's sweep of the Peach Belt Conference.
Yeah, there's no question that Coach Hauser has got a strong team coming back that went to the Peach Belt Conference tournament last season. They were on the cusp of making the NCAA tournament. This is a team that's got defenders. Alana Rawls, she is a double-double. Latia Reeves, just a great shooter, great scorer of the basket. She comes from East Coweta. She's from Noonan. How about the local product? Breland Snipes, the former Shaw Lady Raider. She is the Kennesaw State transfer that came over. Their next home game is going to be Saturday, November the 30th against Wingate University. A perfect opportunity to come out and catch some basketball. I do want to plug this, that they do play Tuskegee University. That's only an hour away. A perfect opportunity to come see the Columbus State Lady Cougars. It's only in Tuskegee. It's an hour away. Just come and support this team. They just do a fantastic job. And once again, I can't wait until conference play starts for the Lady Cougars as well.
Yeah, me either, Richard. So we are going to be covering them all season long. They're going to be part of our Keep It Up with CSU Athletics, which what this segment just was, Richard, here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. We'll have that as a segment. We got River Dragons. We got the Dragon Layer. We're going to try to get on people to talk River Dragons, a part of our Georgia Alabama Sports Live show. So another fun show here. And I'm going to wrap it up by talking a little college football. Just want to say this. Cam Coleman looked great against ULM. It's nice to get him the football. And Auburn doing Auburn things on Unsolicited Hot Take. You're going to want to watch this week. Pretty fired up. Okay, pretty fired up about why Auburn cannot be more consistent. I know ULM is not a good team. They're 5-4 coming in this week. But Auburn's not a 4-6 squad with this roster. I'm not hearing it. But they're not firing him. You got to jump on board. The recruiting's out the water. Right now, they're ranked number 1 or 2 in the entire country, or maybe 3. They're in the top 3. So Hugh Freeze is killing it recruiting. Let's translate that to wins on the daggone field. My God. Just wanted to say that. And then I wanted to add quick thing. Alabama, another dominant performance against Mercer. We expected that. But Did anyone think Tennessee was going into Sanford Stadium and beating Georgia? DJ Jones, me and him will talk about this tomorrow on the Sports Visions radio show, 4 to 6 p.m., 92.1 Smooth R&B. Richard, you're a big part of that and an analyst and a contributor. Did you think Tennessee was going to come in, who has not beat them since 2016? They were going to beat Georgia at Georgia after they just lost to Ole Miss. Georgia's going to win out. They're going to finish 10-2, and they're going to be in the playoff. No one's got better wins than them. They got wins over Texas. They got wins over Tennessee. Their losses are against Ole Miss and Alabama, both top 10 teams. Anybody that thought that they worried, Carson Beck played his best game, which I thought he would do. I thought he would do it last week, but it started this week. And I think Georgia is very much in the thick of things of winning a national championship. I knew it was not a doubt in my mind they were going to win.
Well, here's how I felt about Georgia, especially in that first half. When it was 17-17, that Carson Beck didn't look sharp to start the game. He had a little jitters, got some 3-and-outs. Tennessee moved the football on Georgia. They go up 7-0. I start getting nervous. I'm like, uh-oh. I think Georgia might be in trouble. And then Carson Beck actually did not turn the football over. I was listening to another analyst on another sports talk show. If Georgia does not turn the football over, it's going to be hard for anybody to beat them. And that includes Ohio State. That includes Texas. That includes Alabama if they have to face them again. Yes, this puts Georgia back into the college football consideration. But they actually said if Alabama wins out, they're going to the SEC championship. The winner of that Texas A&M Texas game is going to go to Atlanta. Here's a situation, Thrift. If Alabama loses to Texas in the SEC championship, do you keep them out of the college football playoff if they have 3 losses?
That's a good point, man. And that's a tough ask for these, and that's those hypotheticals. And right now, you're right. If Texas wins and Alabama wins out and everybody else wins, right now we would have Alabama, Texas in the SEC championship game. It's going to take a lot. Alabama needs to get upset, obviously, by Auburn for Georgia to be able to make it. I don't see it happening, and I think we're going to get that in the SEC championship game. And I'm interested in seeing how the playoff committee is going to have this play out. By the way, Alabama just lost to Purdue. Auburn will be, by tomorrow's rankings, a top 4 team. They'll be, I think they're the deepest team in the country, and I honestly think Auburn has the best team in the country. And I'm not saying that to be a homer. I'm just telling you right now from what I've seen and how deep this team is. And right now they're not even getting major production from guys they thought they were going to get it from. That's how loaded Bruce Pearl's team is. This is his most deepest complete team since becoming an Auburn coach. I like this team, and that goes back to that Final Four team back in 2019. I like this Auburn team a lot. We're going to do our college basketball preview show on Wednesday from Glenn Smith. We'll talk some NBA, and then we'll update you everything that's happening on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. We know we have not been able to talk about that. I gave you my NBA preview show on Unsolicited Hot Take with Jonathan Gordon literally a few weeks ago. You can find that on my Facebook page and on Georgia Alabama Sports Live YouTube channel. But, Richard, we got to talk some college basketball. I told you I was going to wait a couple weeks in. I think I'm ready. When these regular season tournaments come in, that's next week when Maui. I think I want to preview before that. So we'll talk about that on Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC. We got the Mara Region Championships and a bunch of other things. So make sure you go to our Facebook. You like us on there. You subscribe our YouTube channel. And another busy week. Cannot wait for it on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Any final thoughts, Richard?
I do. I actually sat up and I watched the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight on Netflix.
Yeah. I was going to say that for Unsolicited. I'm going to say this. A couple things. Netflix, they're in a world of hurt right now because they are supposed to be hosting not 1 but 2 Christmas Day matches. If they don't have this fixed, that's a problem, and they need to get out of the live streaming business. And for someone that does live streaming, I know how tough it is. But, man, that was a disaster. 2, I was more impressed by Mike Tyson than I was Jake Paul. I didn't think I learned anything from Jake Paul. Don't think he's the greatest fighter of all time. I'm more impressed that a 58-year-old can keep up with a 27-year-old. So I thought Mike Tyson won in that regard. And number 3, I'm so glad they didn't make this pay-per-view because if anybody would have paid for that boring of a fight, are you kidding me? That would have been a loss for everybody.
Yeah, it was just fun watching it on Netflix. I already have a Netflix subscription.
Yeah.
And it was fun. And I want to throw this out again. Inside the NBA is coming to ESPN. So the greatest pregame show is not going away. I thought that it would end.
I saw that it's going to ESPN and NBC. So I saw that it was going to be really maybe the pregame show for both is what I thought I saw. We'll have more. We'll have more. That just dropped last night. So we'll have more information on that. I promise you. We'll talk about that when we talk some NBA on Wednesday. Richard, thank you so much. Thank you to all our sponsors, Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC, Gordy Eye Care, the official eye care of Georgia Alabama Sports Live, CVCC, Pepsi, Zaxby's. Thank y'all so much. I hope y'all have a great rest of your night, and we'll see you later on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Thank you for watching the Georgia Alabama Sports Live show presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC. You're ready to smile.